Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be testing out the new Chanel Le Beige collection for 2022 and I'm so excited to test this out because there are some products in here that I haven't even tested anything from that category before, and this is going to be a complete first impression on these products. Now I picked up pretty much everything from the collection, but I didn't pick up the nail varnishes or the lip products just because I don't feel like I need any more lip products after decluttering a lot of lip products in my last decluttering video, and I really just don't need any. And then the nail varnishes I didn't pick up just because I don't tend to go for Chanel nail varnishes. I tend to go for some more affordable ones. So all of these products I'm so excited to test out. I haven't seen any videos on this as well, so this is completely my own first impression, my own opinion. So if you're new to my channel and you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe button down below and also make sure the bell icon just so you're notified every time I upload a new video. Also, I do just want to mention, I do apologise if this lighting isn't the best. I do have a new ring light and I'm sort of trying to work out the best lighting for it. I have seen that they've brought out two new products. They've brought out a water fresh tint blush and then they've also brought out a new foundation. So if you do want to see my opinion on those and if you do want to see a video on those, then just let me know because I'll be sure to pick those up. But I'm sort of on the fence with them because I'm not too sure if they're sort of like gimmick products. But anyway, if you do want to see me test out these new Le Beige 2022 products, then just keep watching. So I picked up 4 different products from this collection. 3 of them I'm going to test out today and 1 of them I'm not going to test in this video, but I think I might be doing a comparison video on a product that is very similar. The product that I'm not going to be testing out today is the Le Beige Illuminating Oil Face, Body and Hair Oil, and this I was so intrigued about when I saw this on the website and when I saw it in person, and it just looks so beautiful. It's so heavy. Like, there is lots of product in there and I'm shocked because it was expensive. It was £70, so it's a very expensive product. You do get 250 millilitres. I was sort of debating whether to get the illuminating oil just because I don't tend to go for oils. I just sort of go with shimmer body sprays and things like that. So it's not something that I always use. But this one said you could use it on the face. I won't be using it on the face just because of how sensitive my skin is. You can use it on the body and also the hair. So that has really intrigued me with this. I did actually see a TikTok video that Erin Nicole did and she used this and it looked absolutely beautiful. You get 250 millilitres or 8.4 fluid ounces. The bottle is absolutely massive. I do still have it sealed here because I don't know, I just like the box and the packaging, so that's why I haven't opened it up yet. The website mentions that it's a dry oil, a formula with an evanescent texture which softens skin and gives hair coppery shine. I have a lot of copper in my hair naturally anyway. A formula enriched with plant-derived oil which delivers a feeling of softness and comfort, optimal amounts of light reflecting pearly pigments for a subtly iridescent satin finish. This also does contain sunflower seed oil as well, so I believe that that's something that really helps nourish the skin and nourishes the hair as well. It doesn't really have a lot of ingredients either, but I don't know, it looks so pretty. I'm so excited to use this. You do get 18 months on it as well, so make sure that you keep your eyes peeled because I will be doing another video on this and showing you what it looks like compared to some products that are very similar to it. So as you can see, I don't have any makeup on my skin because the first product that we're going to test out today is actually an eyeshadow palette. Now this is a re-promote and it's a product that I think they released a year or 2 ago in the Le Beige collection, but it is still available. It's always available, and I wasn't going to pick this up, but I actually saw videos on this and people really liked it and they said that the formula was amazing and that you get so much payoff with it, because I'm very weird with Chanel eyeshadow palettes. I think there's only really been one that I really like, that I go to more than my other palettes, but to be honest, Chanel eyeshadows, to me, they're just too expensive for what you get with them. I haven't really found a palette that's blown me away with every single colour, but you never know, this one might be different because I have heard that the formula is very different as well. So this is the Le Beige Healthy Glow Natural Eyeshadow Palette in the shade Warm. You get 4.5 grams, 0.16 ounces. This also retails for £50. So it's pretty much the same price as all of the eyeshadow palettes from Chanel. This one's different because you do get 5 eyeshadows in there, and usually from a Chanel eyeshadow palette you get 4. So I do like the fact that they've added an extra one in there. And I don't know, on the website it looked like it was going to be shades that I would really use. I tend to go for neutral colours, browns, pinks as well. Those are the types of colours that I always go for, so I knew that this would be a palette that I would probably reach for. And the website says a palette of 5 natural, easy to wear colours to match every mood and create endless looks. From the most discreet to the most intense, its silky texture glides softly over the eyelids for an even, luminous and long wearing result. The powders are soft, creamy texture for shades that blend together easily. You get satiny shades, you get matte shades, a formula rich in ingredients with long lasting properties for an intense and even result all day long. It's also ophthalmologist tested and suitable for contact lens wearers as well. And when you open up the palette, you can see automatically that they are completely different to the normal quad. So this one is a quad, this one is the Le Beige palette. So you can see that there is a very big difference just by the colour on the top, and then also by the size, because you do actually get more products in the Le Beige one than you do in the standard quad. So in the quad you get 2.8 grams, and then in the Le Beige one you get 4.5, so that's actually quite a lot. It's probably about a third more that you get in this palette, which is really good. And then let's open it up, and this is actually much more beautiful than I thought it'd be. This is what you get with the shades. So they're actually really big compared to what I thought they'd look like. I thought they'd be pretty small. Every single one of them is either shimmery or iridescent. I can't see that there's any matte shades in here. I also do like the fact that you have 2 completely different brushes in here as well, because usually you get the sponge applicator, but in here you do get a brush and then you also get a sponge. The palette looks much lighter than I thought it'd be, so this seems like it's going to be a very easy everyday thing. Also with Le Beige, it's one of those where it's meant to be barely there makeup and things that look very natural on the skin and very good for summer. But I am excited to see how this formula compares to the original quads. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to prime my eyelids, and then we'll zoom in and test out the eyeshadow. My eyes are all primed and we're ready to go in with the eyeshadow palette. So the first shade that I'm going to take is this brown right here, and I'm going to put this as a transition shade. I'm not too sure how deep this is going to be, but hopefully it's not going to be that dark. Okay, so that is much darker than I thought, but I don't mind it being the transition shade because I'm also going to put it probably on the outer third as well, so we can sort of move it around and use it for a couple of different things. I do like the fact that it's not completely matte. You do get the iridescence in there. Blends very nicely, a lot of pigment in there. So far this is way better than the other eyeshadow palettes that I've tried out, and I've only tried out the first shade. The transition shade is done, and already I can tell that there's so much more pigment than the rest of the eyeshadow palettes that I've tried out from Chanel. I like this because there's so much pigment to it, it blends out very nicely. I like that it's not mattifying and it is iridescent, so it just, I don't know, it looks nice, and the formula just feels so much more different. It feels very creamy on the eyelids as well, and it blends really nicely. This I literally went in once and I got this for the transition shade. I've never had that with an eyeshadow palette from Chanel before. Usually you have to go in about 2 or 3 times just to build up the colour. I'm going to go in with this pink shade right here because this is calling to me. It looks so pretty. So we're going to try that one. And I'm actually going to try the little brush that it comes with because I really want to see how this goes and if it's actually better than having the sponges, because I know that some people hate the sponges, but I actually do use them, especially if I'm on the go. So a lot of product come off on there. Not much pigment coming off on my actual eyelid. I don't think this brush is good for this shade because that's 3 times I've gone in and I've just managed to cover the lid. So let me try my finger and see if that works any better, but we'll try it on this side. I actually get more pigment using the brush, but I didn't get much on there. As you can see, there's not really much on the eyelid. Let me actually try the sponge and we'll see if that works out better. Okay, the sponge definitely works out way better. So if you do use this shade, definitely use the sponge and just pat this on the lid. There's so much more pigment from using this. Okay, so that is really pretty. I've used both the shades. I do like the pigment from the pink. It's just, I feel like you need to get the right tool to be able to actually transfer it on the lid because it is very pretty, it's very pigmented, but you just need to work out which is the best way to apply it. So next I am going to go back in with the dark shade and I'm going to put this on the outer third just because I want to deepen this up a little bit. This blends really, really nicely, and I do like the fact that I could create a slightly darker look just by adding it in the outer third. I don't feel like it looks too dark. I do like the way that the colours look together as well. I feel like they look very, very pretty. I'm going to take this pink shade right here. I'm not going to use my favourite shade that I really want to apply just yet because I want to put this on the inner corner just to see how that looks. So we're going to take this very, very pale pink shade first, and I'm going to put this on the centre of the lid. That's very nice. That is very pretty. And then I'm just going to take a blending brush and we're just going to blend out all of the brown. Then I'm just going to take this flat brush and we're going to take the top shade right here and put this underneath the brow bone, and we'll use this as a highlighter. This one is a little bit powdery compared to the other ones. There's also a slight hint of shimmer, so it's not overpowering, so it's pretty good if you want to use it as a very light base or if you just want to use it as a highlight. It's not dramatic, it looks nice. So that's the eye look completed for the moment. I'm going to go ahead, do the rest of my makeup, and then we're going to come back and try out the face product. Finished off some more of my makeup, and now we're going to test out the last two products in this collection. So the first one is the Beiges Healthy Glow Bronzing Cream, but this one is a brand new shade. It's 392 Soleil Tan Medium Bronze. As you guys know, Soleil Tan de Chanel was my holy grail for years and years. They changed the formula, and then the original formula was pretty much my holy grail, but since then they've released a deep bronze, which I did test out in a recent video, which I've been going to a lot more because it is a bit deeper than the original shade, and this one is the medium one. So this one is pretty much smack bang in the middle of the two. So I'm not too sure what the shade is looking like compared to the other two. I'm hoping that it's pretty much in the middle and that this one would be the perfect shade for me, because sometimes the deep one is a little bit too deep for me and the original one is most of the time too pale for me. So hopefully this one gives you a really good happy medium. It's £43, a unique, lightweight and easy to blend cream gel bronzer with a delicate velvety finish that gives a natural sun-kissed glow. The generously sized jar makes it easy to swirl a kabuki brush for effortless application, wax and powder for effortless application and a mattifying effect, silica and soft focus powder for an immediate smoothing effect, light reflecting pigments for a radiant, healthy glow. I have very oily, very sensitive skin, and I still don't have any issues with this at all. In all honesty, this one doesn't look that much darker than the original one, so I do have the two to compare, and there's not much of a difference. I feel like the new one is obviously a bit more deeper, and then it's a little bit more warm as well. And between the deep one and the medium one, there is quite a big difference. You can see that this one is still very, very dark compared to the medium one. What I will be doing is a comparison video on all three of them so you can see what they look like on the skin. You can see swatches. That's what they look like compared to each other. So I feel like they could probably add in a few more. They could have a few more deeper shades in this medium one just because it's not that deep. So there are actually two ways that I apply this bronzer. The usual way that I do it is using the sponge, but then recently I've been using a stippling brush for the deeper one just because I don't want a lot of pigment. So I'm going to do the way that I usually do and just use a sponge, and we'll see how this blends, see if the formula is exactly the same and see what the colour looks like. So this is a sponge that I always use. As you can see, I pretty much use it for everything. I use it for foundation and concealer on this side, and then liquid blush on this side, and then also use the bottom and also one of the sides to blend in my bronzer as well. So we're just going to take the side that doesn't have any product on and we're just gonna pat it in. It does look a lot darker than the original one, but hopefully it's going to be a good match. That looks so much darker on the face than it did in the pan. Like, look at that. I probably should have used a light hand, but it's fine. It's fine. We learn from the mistakes. Now that it's blended, the shade isn't actually that deep compared to when I first applied it. I do definitely prefer the way that this one looks. This shade is so much better for me because I can actually see that I'm wearing bronzer, but it's not too deep. It blends beautifully just like always, and it looks beautiful on the skin. I'm going to build up a little bit more just to see if you can. So bronzer on this side is all done. As you can see, it looks so beautiful. I love the shade. And then this side I have nothing. So you can see a massive difference between the two. Nothing here, and then bronzer here. It looks beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to do the other side and we'll see how it looks when it's finished. So cream bronzer is all done and I love this. It's exactly the same as the other formulas. The shade is so much better for me. I don't need to use a light hand with this one. You can see that I have a bronzer on. It just looks so beautiful. I'm so happy with it, and this is going to be a new go-to of mine. This is going to be the shade that I will constantly be picking up in the collection. I'm hoping it's not limited edition. I don't think it is, but this one is now going to be my new go-to. And the last product that I'm going to be testing out is another bronzer, but this one is a powder bronzer, and I've never ever tried any powder bronzers from Chanel. This one is the Beiges Oversize Healthy Glow Sunkiss powder, and the shade that I got is Sunkiss Medium. This one says it's exclusive creation. Hopefully it's not limited edition and you can pick this up even after I've used this up. And this one, it has 15 grams or 0.53 ounces. This is also absolutely massive. I did actually open this up when I first got it because I was very intrigued in the size of it. So this bronzer is very expensive. It's £66, and I believe it's meant to be, I think, 1.5 times the size of a normal bronzer that they have, so it is a very oversized one. And on the website it says a Sunkiss powder embossed with an iconic rounded square and ultra lightweight cream powder texture for creating a naturally bronzed look. 3 shades, so you can get the light, the medium and the deep. I got the medium because it looked like it was going to be the closest match for me. It has a combination of pigments and light reflecting agents for a sun-kissed healthy glow effect, a fine silky and comfortable texture thanks to a blend of ceramic powders and emollients. So like I said, this is an absolutely massive compact. The only thing I wish they included was a brush, because with all the highlighters that I've had, all of the blushes I've had, they have always had a brush in them. And I know that some people don't really like it, but I think for the price, you're spending £66 on this. I mean, it should have come with a brush, but this is the size. It's massive. I'm hoping that the shade is going to be the best shade for me. And then look at that. So I'm going to show you the comparison between this one and a usual blush that you get from Chanel, because like I mentioned, this is the only one that I have. So this is the size of the XXL. This is the size of a blush. That is a massive difference. Just look at the two. One thing I did notice when I opened this up is that you don't get a pouch either with it. So you don't get a pouch, you don't get a brush. What you do get is a bit of cardboard to make sure that it's all okay in the packaging. So I would say if you are after a brush, probably get something that's separate, or just use a brush from a different bronzer or a different product that you have. If you are looking for a pouch, you're not going to get one with this, so just bear that in mind. But to be honest, I'm not too fussed. I use the pouches, but I tend to keep all of my products in the boxes anyway. I don't know why, I just tend to, because I feel like that they're going to get very dirty, especially how I have my makeup. I have it in this thing right here, and this can get very, very messy very easily. Just taking angled blush brushes is what I use for all of my powder bronzers, and I'm just going to dip in here and ruin all of this. Let's hope it doesn't ruin it. I'm just going to try and pick up a little bit. Okay, so quite a lot came up on my brush, and I'm just going to pat this in. I don't swell anything over my cheeks because I do have such oily skin, so I do use quite thick products a lot of the time, and they tend to come off quite easily. Okay, that shade's quite nice. It's not too dark. I find it so weird that I'm using a Chanel bronzer, because my holy grail that I've been using for years and years for a powder bronzer is my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. It's so affordable, but I haven't managed to find anything that's as creamy, blends as good as that. So for this to be this expensive, it needs to be absolutely amazing to actually be able to beat the butter bronzer that I use. But I mean, if I do like it, I will still continue to use it. I probably wouldn't use it as often, just because of how expensive it is. So that's what it looks like with the bronzer on. I really like this bronzer. I feel like that it works very well together. I love the shade of it. It's not too dark, it's not too light. So I'm just going to take a little bit more, but I'm going to put this down the sides of my nose and also on the tip, because that's what I do all the time. So it's a little bit of a contour, and then also just add in a little bit of colour there as well. So all the bronzer is done. I really do like this. I feel like that the shade is beautiful, it blends beautifully as well, and it goes very, very well with the cream bronzer. So I'm now going to take the eyeshadow palette and I'm going to finish off a little bit more of the eyes as well, just because I feel like that they are very beautiful, but I need to do the lower lash line. Then I also need to use a highlighter and use the shade that I am so excited to test out. So I'm just taking the eyeshadow palette again, and I'm going to take these two shades, the ones that we use for the eyeshadow look. We're going to mix them together and put them on the lower lash line. I'm hoping that it's going to create a nice look. I don't want it to be super dark. And then I'm going to take the sponge applicator again, and I'm going to use the shade that I'm so excited for, and it's this one right at the bottom. This one is so beautiful. It's like a shimmery, holographic, it just looks like a beautiful shade. So we're going to use this for the inner corner, and we're going to use this as a highlight. That's beautiful. Can you see how beautiful that is right here? Oh, that is stunning. Oh. That is absolutely beautiful. I love this shade, and oh, I'm so happy with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off the rest of my makeup, collect my thoughts, and then come back and let you know what I recommend, what I don't, and what I think about all the products that I've tested today. So I've just finished off my makeup, and this is what it looks like, and now I've gathered my thoughts and decided on things that I like, things that I don't like, and what I'd recommend to you. And in all honesty, I think this is the first time that I've ever done a Chanel video where I actually like everything I've tried. Usually there's something I don't really like, but this time I like everything in this video. So would I recommend everything? No, but that's just one of those, because I know that Chanel was very expensive. Some people can't really afford to spend a lot of money on a product. So I always go by the whole thing of, you know, is it definitely worth that price? Do I think it's amazing for that price? Can you not get anything that's cheaper that's pretty much the same? So that's the way that I always look at things. And I know that some people really collect Chanel makeup, and they always love collecting the brand new things that come out. So you've got two different types of people that watch these types of videos and collect Chanel makeup. So first of all, the eyeshadow palette, I absolutely love this eyeshadow palette. This is £50. Obviously it is pretty expensive, but it's the same price as all of the other Chanel products. This has so much more product in it compared to the quads. I also love the formula of this as well. I feel like if you are into shades like this, go ahead and get your hands on it. This is going to be a new staple of mine. It has pinks, it has browns, it has very neutral shades, and I feel like this is such an easy palette to work with. The shades blend amazingly, they work very, very well together. They feel very pigmented, they feel very creamy, and they just glide on so easily. I also like the fact that you get two different types of brushes with them. So you do get a sponge applicator and then you get a brush applicator. I really like that. I feel like that is so different to the other ones, because I like to sort of mix and match what I use all different brushes and applicators for. So this way you have two different ones. This I really do like. If you want to get any Chanel palette, I say go ahead and get this one because it's so good. I'm hoping that the rest of the Beiges collection is the same as this for the eyeshadows, but this is definitely going to be a new staple of mine. I highly recommend it. I love it. This is the first time that I've actually genuinely enjoyed every single shade in this palette. And the Healthy Glow bronzing cream, this stuff you guys know I adore. This shade is my favourite shade out of the three. This one works the best for me. I feel like that I'm probably not going to use the original shade or the deep shade anymore, because I've finally found my shade, and I'm so happy that they brought out a middle shade, because this to me just works out so much better with my complexion, and it's to me exactly the same formula as the other ones. Blends beautifully, colour is really nice, very pigmented. I just love it. I feel like that the shade is so good, and I'm so happy that I managed to get my hands on this. And the last one is the powder bronzer. Now this I do like. I feel like that is very creamy, very buttery on the skin, blends very, very beautifully on the skin as well. I love it. I feel like that, you know, I love the embossment on there as well. The thing is, it's a lot of money to spend in one go. That's £66 that you're spending in one go. In dollars, I think it's over $70. So for me, that is very expensive on a product. Now you will, you know, it will take a very long time for you to use this up because it is so much product in there. But I know that I was saying when I was trying this on that I love my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. And to be honest, I feel like personally I get the same look when I use my butter bronzer. I wouldn't recommend you go ahead and get it if you don't collect Chanel makeup and you're not intrigued by this, just because, like I said, it's very, very expensive. Now this one you do get 15 grams, but then in the butter bronzer you get 11 grams of product. But look at the difference in the size. Now I have obviously used a lot of this. As you can see, I have hit pan, so I use a lot of this product. But I think, I don't know if what they've done is just basically spread it out to make it look massive, because it is much more bigger than this one. I have also just looked online and it's £47 for the original size, and it is actually 11 grams. So you are getting an extra 4 grams of product in here. So you are getting a little bit more. XXL, I don't think it is XXL, just because there's not a massive amount of extra product that you get in here. But like I said, it's an absolutely beautiful product. It glided on so beautifully, blended very beautifully as well. And doesn't feel irritating, doesn't feel powdery, just feels like silk. So, you know, you do also have that, and also the beautiful packaging. But also remember, you don't get a brush with this, you don't get a pouch with it as well. So you got to sort of debate about those types of things as well. So that's everything I tested out today from the Chanel Le Beige 2022 collection. Like I mentioned, everything I really did like that I tested out today, and I feel like my makeup turned out really beautifully as well. If there's one product that I recommend that you get from this collection, I'm not really too sure, but the two that I definitely recommend are the eyeshadow and then also the cream bronzer. Everybody loves the cream bronzer, I do as well, and that shade is really beautiful. The eyeshadow I'm blown away by because it just looks so beautiful on the eyes, and I feel like my makeup turned out so well today. Like I mentioned earlier, I am very intrigued about the new Chanel foundation and the Water Fresh blush. I don't know if it's a gimmick, but I'm sort of debating whether to test it out or not. So if you guys do want me to test out those, just let me know and I'll be sure to do a video on those. And if there are any other products from Chanel that you want me to test out, then just comment down below to let me know, because I'm always after testing out new products. So I hope that you enjoy this video. If there's any products that you want me to test out, just comment down below to let me know. And make sure that you give this video a very big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you in my next video, guys. Bye!